let's talk about what it takes to create character with a character. James Gilbey joins us now. James is the creative director from Discovery. We have an amazing partnership with Discovery. Discovery is supporting this project in a lot of different ways, financially, as well as we're hoping to be starting to take some of the very best content that you guys provide. But James is going to talk to us about character and what Discovery is all about. And James, it's all yours.
Thank you. Morning all. I'm a Brit, forgive me. This set is gorgeous. I've spoken in a lot of places and I've never spoken anywhere that looks as amazing as this. I feel like I'm on Fox and Friends, only without the bullshit. Oh shit, we're on Facebook Live, aren't we? Damn it. There goes the job. All right. Look, full disclosure, before I was invited to speak here, I met Dan at something called Create Change that we do at Discovery. And then that connected me to Frank and then invited to speak here. I didn't know about this conference or the work that you do, Frank. And having now sort of done a deep dive into the PBS show and your work with CNN and what you do at Planet Forward, I am in awe and I really am grateful to be invited here. And I just think we should all show our appreciation for Frank because this work is absolutely incredible. All right, so this is my roadmap. I'm going to explain sort of very quickly. I don't want it to be a plug for Discovery, but I'm going to show you very quickly, explain the work that I do, explain some of the stuff we do at Discovery. You know the channels. I'm going to do the work that we do outside of the channels. And then what we're going to do is we're going to look at a load of creative. And the reason a load of great storytelling creative and PSAs and non-profit creative. And the reason I do that is I'm a big believer in that we should always look over our shoulder. You're only as good as the work that you see. I say, even though my name has creative in it, my job title does, I don't believe I've ever had a creative idea in my life. I take a little bit from here and a little bit from there and sort of synthesize it and come up with another idea. I'm a thief, really. I'm a creative slut. So let me explain very briefly what I do. I work in something called Discovery the Agency. We are I always get this wrong. We are an internal creative marketing and advertising agency. So anyone within the company throughout the world can use our services. We do anything from designing a business card to making a fully fledged program and anything in between. Any kind of creative work the company might need, this agency do, and I look after a team of immensely talented people who are infinitely more talented than I am. The easiest way I can explain it is every Christmas, I'm British, as I said, I fly back home, I see my dad, and my dad every year without fail says, James, I don't really understand. Can you explain what it is you do for a living? And I say, yes, Dad, creatively I'm anybody's bitch. Which sort of explains what I do. Okay. I just want to very quickly just show you some of the work outside of the channels that we do with social responsibility at Discovery. We divide it into 4 areas: corporate priorities. In other words, things that are important to the whole company as a whole, no matter where you work within the company and beyond. Our network priorities, as in each channel has a cause that they back and very much believe in it and push. We do internal stuff, and I'm going to talk about one of those called Create Change in a moment. And then we just give money to various organizations and people, and we're a very, very proud sponsor of today. So I'm just going to pick on one of these because it's very close to my heart, which is something called Project CAT, Conserving Acres for Tigers. And working with the World WWF, we are preserving a very large piece of land on the border of India and the Kingdom of Bhutan, where it will be a safe space for tigers. And our plan, our big ambition, is to double the tiger population by 2022. So essentially what we're doing is we're creating a piece of land where tigers can safely have sex. A bit of tiger porn, bit of tiger music, and everyone's going to be happy. So that's what we're trying to do, double the tiger population. And so here's just a piece of work that describes that. We did an ad very recently in Vanity Fair, and we produced this spot.
Introducing the next major global initiative from Discovery Communications. Project CAT, conserving acres for tigers. In partnership with World Wildlife Fund, Project CAT aims to conserve nearly 1 million acres of protected land on the border of Bhutan and India. It is within these sites that the wild tigers might find a path to survival. When undisturbed, they may thrive and breed, with a gestation period of up to 112 days, around 3 months, 3 weeks, and 3 days. These habitats offer the promise and protection to allow populations to rebound. Today, Discovery proudly joins World Wildlife Fund in the global effort to double the population of wild tigers by 2022. Together, we can help protect these endangered animals and offer a brighter future that ensures generations to come will share a world with these majestic cats. We've spent 30 years documenting life on our planet. Now, Project CAT is our biggest step yet to protect it. Join us.
In your tote bag, you have from us, you have a little tiger, do you? Yeah. You do? Good. It's not a real one, I promise. Okay, so I met Dan because every year I do something at Discovery called Create Change. And Create Change is where myself and all the Discovery employees across the country and somewhat the world, we give over our creative services to local and regional non-profits. So we can do anything from build them a website, to write them a marketing plan, to a PR strategy, to redesigning their logo. And every year, well, since 2009, we've been doing this, and it's an incredible experience. And that's how I met Dan, and came to be here. But every year, I kick off, like today, I kick off Create Change by showing a load of creative, to set the tone, to say, this is great work. But as part of that, I do this huge study, which I don't suggest any of you do. You will lose the will to live. And this huge study where I call the 5 effective habits of 5 effective nonprofits. Amnesty, Salvation Army, Oxfam, UNICEF, and American Red Cross. And look into the work that they do, because they are great, great storytellers and communicators. And admittedly, they do have a lot of money. But what's at their heart, what's the essence of what they do, can be prescribed to anything that we do. And so this is what I call the 5 effective habits. And the first one is clarity of message. They are very, very clear about what they do and how they do it and why you should care. They're totally clear. Often when you work with nonprofits, and I don't mean to insult anybody, they can't clearly describe what they do. They say, well, I do a bit of this, and I do a bit of that. They feel like they have to tell you everything. And no, it's like, make people care about one single thing. So they have very much a clarity of message. They then have consistency of message. And that means they're constantly talking about the same thing all the time. They're not diverting. They're not losing their focus. They constantly have consistency of message. They have emotional impact. They will make you laugh. They will make you cry. They will make you get angry. They will rally you. They will make you go wild. But they will always make sure that you have some kind of reaction. You're never bland to their consumer or their B2B message. They're very distinct. You know what they do amongst people who do something very, very similar. They're very clear about their mission and their message. They're brand distinct. And they innovate. Whenever you see any kind of communication from them, they are finding new ways to get their message across. And that's sort of some of what we're going to look at today, some of the sort of in distinct ways. But before we go into it, and I'll stop talking in a second, I absolutely promise you. I want to just sort of say how to read what I'm about to show you, because whenever I do Create Change every year, often, in the feedback cards, and I don't know about you, I freaking hate feedback cards. But in feedback cards after, people always say, well, we love the work, or we love what you showed, but you need lots of money to make this. And I used to be really polite about it. I used to say, well, what I need you to do is to look beyond the money and to see the great ideas, to see the theory behind what they're doing, to see the mission. And now I've decided I'm going to be a dick, okay? I'm going to say, if you think that you need money to do what they're doing, then you're not very good at your job. Because communicating a message, a great script, a great piece of writing, a great idea doesn't necessarily need money. So what I'm asking you to do is look beyond some of the pieces that I'm going to show you that have clearly had money lavish on them. But look at how they're communicating. Look at how they cut. Look at how they take an idea and turn it on its head. Look at how they manipulate your emotions. And that's what I beg of you to do. Now, to prove that, I'm going to show you a PSA from a cinema in Texas. They used UGC, right? Creative work from one of their consumers. They edited it at home. They put a great piece of music on it, and it was extraordinarily cheap to make. I've been asked by Dan to warn you, it does have the F-bomb in it a fuck of a lot. It does have the F-bomb in it. I am British. We use the F-bomb as a term of endearment in my country. So I'm going to make the assumption we're all adults here and we don't mind swear words. Is that correct? Is that correct? Okay, good. All right. So this proves that you don't need money to put across a great idea.
Yeah, I was wondering if you guys actually enjoy treating your customers like pieces of shit, because that's how I felt when I went to the Alamo Draft House. Okay? You know what? I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to text in your little crappy-ass theater. It was too fucking dark in that place for me to find my seat, all right? I was using my phone as a flashlight to get to my fucking seat. So excuse me for using my phone in USA, United States of America, where you are free to text in a theater. I was not aware that I couldn't text in your theater, all right? I've texted in all the other theaters in Austin, and no one ever gave a fuck about what I was doing on my fucking phone, all right? And it was on silent. It wasn't on loud. It wasn't bothering anybody. You guys obviously were being assholes to me, and I'm sure that's what you do, you know, to rip people off. You take my money, and then you throw me out. You know, I will never be coming back to your Alamo Draft House or whatever. I'd rather go to a regular theater where people are actually polite. And, you know, I'm going to tell everyone about how shitty you are. And I'm pretty sure you guys are being assholes on purpose. So thanks for making me feel like a customer. Thanks for taking my money, asshole.
I genuinely think as long as I live, I'll never be able to make anything as brilliant as that. When you're a great storyteller, you will always look for a new way to tell a story, for a new way to communicate a message. Often, a message has been told so many times, or an idea has been told so many times, it simply falls on deaf ears. It becomes a piece of wallpaper. And when you're a great storyteller, you use characters, you character storytelling to find new light. So if I was to say to you, prostate cancer, you think, well, I've heard that message, men should go and get themselves checked, yep. Heard a message, deaf ears. Not the way these people tell it.
Oh, you off?
Nipping off to play golf with Dave.
Come sit next to me for a second.
Why? What's wrong?
Nothing's wrong. It's just been ages since we've had a father-son chat. You're getting older, and your body's going through a lot of changes.
Yeah.
Do you know what your prostate is? Your prostate is the thing that produces your stuff. If your prostate gets cancer, it might need to come out, which could make adult nap time a little tricky. And that's not even the worst part. You could die. So, there's this website I found.
All right, fine. I've got it. Can I go now?
No,
Dave's
you
waiting.
can't. You and all your lot of friends need to do something about this. Now.
Oh, this is ridiculous. All right. I'm going to play golf with Dave.
See, essentially, it's just a simple idea. It's just found a new way to tell that. It's really smart. We're going to go to Russia for this next one. And this shows that if you are a great storyteller, you can use that power to change opinion, to change people's attitude, and to make them think differently about certain things. This is one of the most powerful things I'm going to show you. This is how great storytellers, great filmmakers, great creatives, great ways of telling stories can absolutely change opinion.
I'm one of the 105,000 orphans in Russia. Imagine you want to adopt one of us. Blue eyes or dark. From the north or from the south. You just want to find somebody to love. But the only way is through the online National Archive, where we are presented with a bad picture and a short and cold description. And there's one more problem. Whilst for newborns and little girls, it is easier to be adopted. For us boys over 7 years of age, there's little hope left. This isn't fair, right? That's why Movies That Change Lives was born. Thanks to the guys at Change One Life Foundation, 10 of the best Russian directors came to spend time with us. Once we became friends, they wrote and shot short movies where we were shown in such cool ways. These 10 movies were played all over Russia. And the whole country talked about us.
Сегодня в московских кинотеатрах стартует проект «Фильмы, которые меняют жизнь».
Some of the movie stars have already been approached for adoption, and they'll hopefully meet their new families soon.
Сегодня приезжал возможный родитель Сережа, мальчик Сережа, который там был показан. Вот результат работы уже вашим лицом.
2 года мы пытались заключить соглашение с одним из регионов, и после публикации в российской газете информации о нашем проекте органы опеки и попечительства позвонили нам сами.
And the best news is that the government is ready to collaborate in upgrading the whole National Archive.
Ваши фильмы работают.
И эти фильмы действительно меняют жизнь.
Yeah, this goes to exactly to what Frank was saying earlier. It's if you can tell great stories, you can make anything happen, and that proves it. I want to talk a little bit about the science of storytelling, and I didn't know much about this until an amazing series in Fast Company, which I highly recommend you go and seek out, written by Jonathan Gottschall, and it talked about why storytelling fascinates us deeply. And it quoted a study by a neuroeconomist called Paul Zak. Who knew there were such things in the world as a neuroeconomist? I'm so pleased there are neuroeconomists in the world. Anyway, this neuroeconomist called Paul Zak, he did this study on students where he took their blood before telling them a story and after telling them a story. And the story was about a father and his ill son. And when he measured the blood content afterwards, he found that there was a rise in something called oxytocin, which is called the empathy chemical. And it so much so that he found that because of this story, people wanted to donate their salary to the cause in which he was talking about. And the study suggests that stories change our behaviors by actually changing our brain chemistry. Something happens inside you. It's not just that you laugh or you cry. There is a physical change going on inside you. And I find that amazing. I'm going to prove it. I'm going to show you something that Google did in India. And it is quite remarkable, what I'm about to show you. I beg you, if you're on your phone or doing something else, I beg you to give this 100% attention. And what I love also about this piece is it's a great way to tell who has the empathy gene and who is a sociopath. As we'll see in about 4 minutes.
ये मैं ये यूसुफ लंगोटिया यार सी मेरा लाहौर में हमारे घर के सामने एक बड़ा बाग था उस बाग का गेट बाबा आदम के जमाने रोज शाम को हमने वहां पतंगे उड़ानी और उसके बाद जाके यूसुफ की दुकान से जजरिया चुरा के खानी।
झझरिया?
और मेरा साहब नमस्ते। नमस्ते, मेरी पोती मुंबई वाली। और बेटे क्या हाल चाल है?
बचपन की तंग गली फिर से कूद फांदे, छोटी छोटी मीठी चोरी गांठ लेके बांधे।
हेलो, अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
फाजिल स्वीट्स?
हाँ जी। दादाजान, दिल्ली से किसी की कॉल है।
हेलो,
यूसुफ अंकल?
कौन?
जी मैं सुमन बोल रही हूँ दिल्ली से, आपके बचपन के दोस्त बलदेव जी की पोती। याद है बचपन में आप दोनों झझरिया चुरा के खाते थे?
बचपन की तंग गली फिर से कूद फांदे, छोटी छोटी मीठी चोरी गांठ लेके बांधे। एक पतंग सा उड़ता था परिंदों की तरह, परिंदों की तरह, परिंदों की तरह। एक दौर था मन मन मोर था, एक दौर था मन मन मोर था।
पार्टीशन के वक्त हम रातों रात हिंदुस्तान आ गए।
दादू?
यूसुफ दी बड़ी आजादी।
कागजों की कश्तियों में डूबा रहता था, झांकती खिड़कियों में उलझा रहता था। वो भी क्या दौर था, मन पे न जोर था। एक दौर था मन मन मोर था, एक दौर था मन मन मोर था।
भैया थोड़ा जल्दी।
हाँ जी, कौन? हैप्पी बर्थडे यारा। यूसुफ, यूसुफ, वो यूसुफ, बल्लू, यूसुफ यार।
Anybody need a hug? Anybody need a hug? I've seen that 1,000 times this August. Quick history lesson behind that. Just in 1947, the Brits, who have an incredible ability to go around the world and fuck things up, the Brits partitioned, literally overnight, India and Pakistan. And families got split up, there was rioting, there was an immense amount of bloodshed. And still to this day, there is very strict travel laws between the two countries. And so obviously in India and Pakistan, this caused a lot of debate and a lot of sensation, and it really did sort of start to have an effect on people's attitudes and especially on government policy. And a lot of comment online about this, but my favorite quote was this one, which said, "Google brought nations together in 3 minutes, 32 seconds. The politicians of both countries couldn't do this in 66 years. Again, it points to the power of storytelling. If you've ever heard a kid tell a story, it's one of the most immense flights of imagination, the kid as anecdote. And I think often we lose that as we get older. Well, obviously we lose that. But to use kids as storytellers, you can often have remarkable ideas, remarkable effects, remarkable flights of imagination that you can use in the way that you tell stories. Greenpeace used this to immensely good effect. Go. Go. Go.
Once upon a time there was a school, and at the school was a boy who was very clever, and his name was Mark Zuckerberg. He wanted to have friends. Mark Zuckerberg found the friends, but they were inside and he wasn't. So Mark invented Facebook, which invented lots of friends for him. And everyone said hooray! And then they all wanted his money, but he had 500 million friends on Facebook, so no one could bully him. Facebook lives in a big box full of computers, and all the Facebook pictures and words and faces are kept inside it. And the box is in Oregon. Facebook in the box eats a lot of special food called electricity. A good way of making electricity is by letting cheeky clouds with lips blow windmills round and round. But silly Mark Zuckerberg chose dirty old coal. Coal is made from rotten dinosaur food, and when you burn it, it dirties the air, which makes our world grow hotter and meltier and fludger. But Mark Zuckerberg can still change his mind, and I know which one I would choose, and so do all his friends. If you let your friends down, you let yourself down. And with 500 million friends, it's a long way down.
It did work. They reneged and they found a different power source. So there you go. Ambition is a great thing, and this is an incredibly ambitious spot. The state government of Victoria in Australia, they launched this campaign to try and get traffic accidents to zero. Yes, zero. They brought this to life with this devastatingly effective campaign. But from a storytelling point of view, you cannot get as relatable as putting people themselves in the situation you're trying to communicate. I'm going to show a number of spots like this, but there is nothing like showing people the absolute effect it has on not everybody, just one single person.
So last year, 249 people died on our roads. What do you think would be a more acceptable number?
Acceptable? 70 maybe? Probably 70.
Can you send 70? Actually, this is what 70 people looks like.
It's my family.
So now, what do you think would be a more acceptable number?
0. 0.
Again, a simple idea, but brilliantly told. Now, the next one is an issue that's very, very close to my heart. I call this use the zeitgeist because they are obviously an issue that's very now, but using a technique, 1-second video, that is very now, very zeitgeist. But by employing this 1-second video, they bring it something that feels very remote. The refugee crisis in Syria, they bring it very close to home. And in doing so, I think they quite effectively try and dispel fears and xenophobia. This is absolutely outstanding.
Happy birthday to you. Make a wish. Granny.
Hello. Have you done your homework?
Ada.
For a general strike.
Ready or not? Here it comes.
Violent clashes with live ammunition against.
Deserve to get shot.
Have a nice day at school.
Airstrikes on rebel position.
We are going to stay.
Heavy fighting in Richmond.
Dad, where are we?
Rebel forces advance.
Happy birthday to you. Make a wish, darling.
It says here I'm out of time. I've still got a little bit way to go, Dan. Where we go? Okay, thanks. All right. I've been looking at non-profit work and marketing and creative for some time. I've done this Create Change thing now for 7 years, and part of which you'll see in a day. What I'm about to show you is, over the enormous weight of work I've seen, is the most powerful but also the most shocking piece I've seen in my career. It involves a road traffic accident. It involves, I show it not to be gratuitous. I don't show it just because it is simply the power of shock, but I show it because I think it is the most remarkable way to tell an issue, to describe an issue and to tell a story. I don't show this to offend you. I don't show this to be gratuitous. And so, as I say, it's about a road traffic accident. If you think I don't wish to force this upon anybody, don't feel embarrassed, just look away and you'll know when it's over. But I show it for very good reason. I show it because I think to tell a personal story is the most effective tool that you have. Okay?
I remember the day we got David's first motorbike. We bought it for him for his 16th birthday. And it was a few days before his birthday that we picked it up. It was a heap of a thing, really. And he was so excited. And we brought it home on the back of his dad's truck. And David was standing out on the parking space. And he was jumping up and down with excitement. And that was just fabulous. That's a lovely, lovely memory. And I know Ken says that he wishes he's never bought him that first bike, but I honestly wouldn't have denied David his 22 years of riding pleasure. David was the most wonderful son. He was never a tearaway. He never ever got into trouble. He was just polite, friendly, kind, generous, had so much to give. And his friends describe him as a legend and a gentleman. He'd only come back from Antarctica at the end of February, so he'd only been back just over 3 months. He'd been away for 15 months working for the British Antarctic Survey. The day of the accident, he'd been to King's Lynn. He'd met up with some of his colleagues from Antarctica and some of his UK friends, and they'd been to a race meet and a dirt quake. And he'd had a brilliant day. I know he rode fast that day. He loved speed. He loved motorbikes. The driver didn't see him and turned right across his path. David didn't have time to take evasive action. This isn't an easy thing to do, but I just hope that somebody benefits from it, that motorists slow down, They look before they turn to junctions. They think there's a motorcyclist, yeah, he's going fast, what might he do? Motorcyclists think there's a car driver, what might he do?
I think in defense of that spot, and I do think it's a remarkable piece of filmmaking, in defense of that spot, I have changed as a driver as a result of seeing that. And I think if any single person changes as a driver, then that spot works. I don't want to end on that note. I'm out of time, and I really don't want to end there. I'm going to skip. I went from the most shocking to the best one I've ever seen. I'll put that online so you can see it. But I do want to finish on a higher note than that. I hate slacktivism. Do you know the term slacktivism? It means people who just think if they say something on Facebook or their social media, they're done. No more work to do. I've done a like, and that's when it drives me crazy. Wikipedia describes slacktivism as feel-good measures in support of an issue or social cause that have little or no practical effect. And so it really does drive me crazy when I see people do that. I think, just do something. Send a check. Go and build something. Go and make something. Go and have some kind of effect. And I know I'm preaching to the converted in this room. But here is a spot that says, don't take no slacktivism or anti-slacktivism too far.
You are a good person. You spend time with your family. You work out at the gym.
Come on, push.
You conserve water while showering. You like nice clothes. You give to charity. You recycle. You drive a Prius, but you use your bike when you can. You enjoy the occasional distraction at work, and you always send a card on Mother's Day. Always. But there's a part of you that tells yourself that you're not so good, that you could be doing more, that the world is falling apart at the seams, and all you've been doing is yoga. One day, you see that the rainforest is being destroyed at a staggering rate of 32 million acres a year. That's the equivalent of one football field every 78 seconds. You feel bad, angry, guilty. You've been apathetic for too long. You want to do something about it. You must do something about it. Well, this is what you're not going to do.
I quit!
You're not going to quit your job, leave your family, get on the next flight to Nicaragua, take a bus to the edge of the jungle, then hoof it across rivers, lakes, and streams on a quest to the very heart of the rainforest.
Take me to the heart of the rainforest.
You're getting closer. You're almost there. You have arrived.
You're not going to ingratiate yourself with the local tribesmen, go to great lengths to earn their respect and trust.
No.
It is around now you realize you're living out the cliche gringo fantasy of becoming an honorary native and leading the resistant forces. But screw it. If they could do it, so can you.
I'm gonna save you! This guy comes over here, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna pull a zafting bats right through him, right over here.
You're not going to coordinate and occupy the rainforest movement, realize it's hopeless, summon the power of the gods, lead a revolution against the deforesters and their multinational employers in an apocalyptic, once-and-for-all battle to save humanity, only to awaken 2 days later in an El Salvadorian hospital with 2 toes missing on your left foot.
Siri, I wanna go home.
Hobble out of Central America, up through Mexico, across the Sierra Madre, where you break down, have your first cigarette in 4 years, accidentally start a wildfire, killing off the endangered species that once served as your occupational distraction, finally make it back home, only to find you've been replaced at work by a guy named TJ, and that things at home are not what they used to be. You're not going to do any of these things, but what you can do is follow the frog. Buying Rainforest Alliance certified products ensures the future of our rainforests, so that you don't have to do the things you shouldn't do anyway. Just follow the frog.
So we don't have time for Q&A, but I'm around. You come and have a chat. Love to talk to you. Thank you very much.
James, thank you. Before you go, a couple things. First of all, you should know that James himself is a character and has been one. Was it EastEnders you were in?
Yes, I was many years ago.
Guys in the back, I know some of you guys came in the middle of this. Please feel free to come fill seats and join us down here and be part of the family. A couple of observations that I would have that I think are important. First of all, how many in the room have made a video or written a blog or done something that would constitute storytelling? Okay, most. So all of you should have taken many things from this, and let's just very briefly recap. The notion of character works. Character is I can be a character. You can tell a story about yourself, or another person is a character. There is emotion in all of these. You took us through an incredible emotional roller coaster just now. So does character, the focus on a person, always and necessarily engage emotion at some level if it's going to be successful, do you think?
Yes, I absolutely would say so. If you talk in the abstract, you will compel nobody.
So just giving numbers or telling what somebody did.
Giving numbers, filling in details. People often think when they tell a story they have to tick a lot of boxes. You don't. You have to tell an amazing story that is relatable, that comes from a single person, comes from a group of people, comes from a perspective that you cannot tell if you tell a story in the abstract. There's one piece I haven't shown, but I would love people to go back and watch. Does everybody remember Coney 2012? I want you to, and it's probably since 5 years since you looked at that, and no, it didn't bring down a dictator. I want you to go and watch the first 5 minutes and see how you are manipulated into how to tell a story. And if you can copy that in everything you do, you'll be a great success.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. James will be around. He'll be at lunch, and we'll look forward.